With-chukhe wrestling. Wrestling with choukhe, a type of wrestling that is played in North Khorasan Province, Iran. Wrestling with choukhe is one of the most famous local sports in Iran, which is known today as choukhe, and is popular among the Kurds of Khorasan and the Turks of Khorasan, and other ethnic groups and Persian speakers in Khorasan. It has an ancient history, and this native sport in many local ceremonies, especially weddings, have also been common. The Kurds of Khorasan have always attached special importance to this ship and tried to train heroes in this field. This sport was traditionally held in weddings and other celebrations, occasions and ceremonies of Nowruz in the villages. Later it developed and became popular. Name origin. The word choukhe is originally a Kurdish word meaning coat and means a short garment that the Choukhe workers fasten with a white scarf. Because this sport has been popular among the Kurdish people of North Khorasan Turks of Khorasan for a long time, it is known as choukhe. Wrestling with choukhe in other countries. Wrestling with Khorasan choukhe is common in Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Tatarstan, etc., with the exception of Khorasan, and with the titles of Gurash, Gilash, Alish. Every year, a team of North Khorasan and Khorasan Razavi wrestlers participate in international wrestling competitions on behalf of Iran. How to run wrestling competitions with choukhe. Wrestling with choukhe prizes. Wrestling awards are also different from Choukhe due to its traditional and national nature. In the term, the winners of choukhe square are awarded sugar, the first person is given the first sugar, and the second and third people are given according to the other sugars. In addition to sugar, gifts such as camels, rams, carpets, and sheep. Traditionally, wrestling prizes are considered as symbols of nomadic and rural life. Sometimes tribal weaves such as carpets, rugs, and kilims are used. Of course, these awards can be different in different regions. It is important that the awards are commensurate with the dignity of the sport and support the wrestler. Time and place of wrestling with choukhe. The wrestling competitions with Khorasan wrestlers were held on the grass and soft soil on the day of Eid al-Fitr and on the 14th of Farvardin before coming to the mat on the mat. Choukhe wrestling has long been held in the heart of nature and open spaces. If most of the ship's pits, with the current Choukhe that have been established for a long time, such as Pahlavan, Jojo Pit in Rivade, Sultan Zurib Shrine Pit in Imam Verdi Khan Quichan Village, Ravard Village Pit in Quichan, Zainal Khan Pit in Esfarayan, Imam Morshid Pit in Farouj, and others pits that are located in recreational areas and the wrestling is held on soft ground or grass and with the presence of large crowds of men and women, old and young. Today, these competitions are held in the middle of winter and in February in Maine and Samolgan, on the 8th of Farvardin in Rivade, on the 12th of Farvardin every year in Shervin, on the 13th of Farvardin in Bajnerd as a province with the presence of famous heroes of this region. But the main and national competitions are held every year on the 14th of Farvardin in God Zainal Khan of Esfarayan city. Wrestling with choukhe equipment. Choukhe, which was the woolen garment of shepherds and farmers, and in fact the old clothes of the Kurds of Khorasan. Choukhe used to be a thick and durable coat with sleeves, but today it has become a sleeveless linen vest. Belt, a belt or shawl that is fastened around the waist on the Choukhe and holds the body firmly like a stone kever, and wraps the skirt of the Choukhe around it. The belt, in fact, Kurdish pashti or pashtun, which used to be worn around the waist of every Iranian 3 times, based on the 3 principles of good thinking, good speech, and good deeds, and is a relic of the Zoroastrian belt called kashti. It was said to consist of 72 white threads of fleece woven by pious women in 612 threads. The belt is a symbol of power in the ancient myths of human civilization. Like the Shem set that the gods and kings of ancient Egypt carried with them. Shorts, which are similar to wrestling shorts except that they fold slightly upwards. Davul and Sorna, with the sound of Davul and Sorna singing of Kurmanj musicians. The wrestler moves around the wrestling field and warms himself up and prepares for the competition. The sound of Davul and Sorno, which is the rhythm of war, is also a vocal call for the news of the ship and asks people to gather and watch the ship with all their hearts and souls. Wrestling field, which is a place 10 meters by 10 meters, and the ship is done there. Choukhe is one of the handicrafts of Khorasan, especially North Khorasan. Chinese sheep wool in North Khorasan is known among the Kurds as Persian brin. The other wools that are plucked several times from the body of larger sheep are called hari, or tune is prepared and the threads are woven together in a uniform and cohesive manner, and a cloth made of loa or hari is made, and this cloth is called choukhe. Athletes usually sew the choukhe cloth to be turned into coats, suits, and leggings. It was named Choukhe, and the ship became known as the Choukhe ship. It was in such a way that no other fabric survived in the wrestlers' fight like the Choukhe fabric. Wrestling with Choukhe field, which is a circle with a diameter of 10 meters and the ship is held there. The ship is performed in a traditional way without stereotypes, ship on the ground, and with sarina and davil. The whole beauty of the ship is its traditional way of holding it, which can be attractive to all walks of life. Shipwreck is always held outdoors in the heart of nature and recreational places and on soft ground or grass. It is necessary to take this into account as much as possible now. Shaking hands before wrestling is also one of the beauties of this sport. Traditional and famous shipwrecks in cities such as Quichan, Esfarayan, and Ravade such as Ravard and Sultan Zoraib Wells and Zainal Khan and Jijo Springs are very clear examples of this. Davil and Sorna. By playing the davil and sorna by the sections, the wrestler move around the competition field, warm themselves, and prepare for the competition. The sound of davil and sorna is also a song for the news of the ship and asks people to gather and watch the ship with all their hearts and souls. Kurdish music that is played with heavy and martial themes. Two musicians, Surna and Davil, give a special atmosphere to the sport of wrestling by playing music. It reaches its peak and increases the speed of Davil, and Sorna wood,